Louis, don't zoom in! Louis! Oh. Come here. Come here. Welcome to Purple Rain. There's a very important reason why Louis is here today. You haven't just gate crashed for no goddamn reason. The PWHL is going back on tour, and yeah, Takeover weekend is back, and it's now the Takeover tour. Yeah, so of course during the inaugural season, you know, the neutral site games were a really big deal. Everybody got at least one neutral site game last season. Although you could have the debate of, well, did we Minnesota really get a fair shout because we went to a university campus and everyone else got to be in an actual arena? The Victoire and Sceptres fans could argue, well, hang on, we played in our respective AXL teams' bars. That's not really counted as a neutral site. Yeah. So, but yeah, but this is but neutral site games, they've been a huge factor in the PWHL, and they've been really successful. Louis, you're gonna love it. In next year, you're gonna love it. It's been neutral site games. They're really successful. They always sell out. So if you're watching, listening to this one, I'm thinking I want to get a ticket to one of these takeover sites, then do it now, because chances are the tickets will probably be flying off. They're going to be selling like hot cakes. No, we can't have a cupcake now. No, we can't have a cupcake right now. Plus, you have to buy Sharky for them. So, yeah, but yeah, so, yeah, really exciting. Especially, of course, obviously, we've got expansion now on the horizon. We know that is on the way. Lady did say, though, that she felt the neutral site games this year are going to feel less significant than they did last year, because obviously every neutral site game you're going to look up this year, people are going to ask, well, is that a potential candidate for expansion? And who knows? The league may go completely, you know, might blindside us and go for two sites that have not received a takeover game. They could very well do that, but I think the betting, if I was a betting man, it would most likely be one of the two teams are going to be one of the many takeover sites that we're going to have, particularly for this season. Yeah, so we're ready to go through them. So yeah, so this is so exciting. So 9 games this year will be used as neutral site games as part of the Takeover tour. That's very exciting, Louis. Yeah. So the Federal Hockey League have announced that the PWHL Takeover tour, which will be a slate of 9 neutral site games, that will be played outside the league's current complement of cities. Do bear in mind there is a possibility that some teams might get neutral site games in their own markets, like how the Charge are going to be hosting a game against the Victoire in the Ottawa Sirens arena, so there's still a possibility. It depends on if your team's got any TBDs left on your schedule to sort out. Yeah, so just do that in mind. This is huge. This is so huge. Okay, so the games will be contested in a variety of locations across the United States and Canada. Sprawling from the Pacific Northwest with Seattle and Vancouver to as far east as Quebec City and as far south as Raleigh, North Carolina. Only Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, which was home to a PHL contest last year, it will serve as the return host of a neutral site game in the league second season. And we're going to come on to it in a moment. Yeah, there we go. So, this is just so exciting. I mean, the Takeover weekend, it was a great idea on paper, but the execution was done poorly because the league, we've said it plenty of times, the league chose a weekend where all 6 teams were in action, but only 4 of them got involved in the takeover weekend. We, of course, got snubbed along with the Sirens. So the fact that we've all got a fair shout this time round, I think it's just brilliant. Yeah, and the fact they managed to extend this and just go... This shows the level of commitment to neutral site games, and I think neutral site games are going to be the future of the PWHL. Even if we then grow to like a 12 or 16 team, there's going to be neutral site games. That's part of the DNA of the Takeover, which is great because it just makes the league stand out more. I mean, you don't see the AHL doing that, do you, Louis? We don't see you going to a random city for a game that happens during the season. No, it's all 41 Enterprise Centre for you, darling. Yeah. You don't see that in the AHL. Or the AHL. Okay. So here we go. So let's run you through through the schedule. Louis, you've got a very long wait to go through this schedule, darling. Pace yourself. Pace yourself. Okay. So the Takeover Tour begins on January the 5th, when the Montreal Victoire will be at the Boston Fleet at Claridge Pledge Arena, Seattle, the home of the Seattle Kraken. Then on January the 8th, we have the Montreal Victoire at the Toronto Sceptres in Rogers Arena, Vancouver, home of the Vancouver Canucks. January the 12th is the first of the Frost's Takeover Tour games. We'll be hosting the Montreal Victoire on January the 12th at Ball Arena, Denver, the home of the Colorado Avalanche. On January the 19th, we've got the overcharge at Montreal Victoire at Videotron Centre, Quebec City. That, of course, we already knew about. That got announced a couple of weeks ago. Way before the Takeover Tour was announced, we already knew about that one. Then February the 16th, you've got the Toronto Sceptres at overcharge at Rogers Place, Edmonton. That has now been confirmed. February the 23rd, you've got the Boston Fleet and the New York Sirens, which will take place at KeyBank Center, Buffalo, home of the Buffalo Sabres. March the 7th, that's when your Frost are next on tour. We're hosting the overcharge at Lenovo Center, Raleigh, which is the home of the Colorado Hurricanes. It's had a rename. It's had a rename, Louis. Did you notice that? Yeah, I've not really played the Colorado Hurricanes yet this season. So, but yeah, they changed the name of the arena. Oh, they kept that under the radar. Then on March the 16th, it's the third and final Frost Takeover Tour match. They'll be at New York Sirens at Little Caesars Arena, Detroit, which of course hosted the first ever Takeover weekend game between the overcharged Boston Fleet last season. I think that's the same as well. There you go. And then the Takeover Tour concludes on March the 29th with the overcharge at Boston Fleet at Enterprise Center, St. Louis, the home of the St. Louis Blues! Louis! 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 Oh, you get to welcome Ottawa and Boston. Louis! There we go. Now, I have to say, Louis, you were a shock. When I saw this list, there you go. You were a shock. I was not expecting... Well, I didn't know who was expected to see get a neutral site game this year. I was not expecting St. Louis, because the rest of the other 8, I think, are all likely candidates for expansion. You've got, obviously, Vancouver, Seattle. We want Seattle. Denver, Detroit, maybe Buffalo too, potentially. Or, so Louis is the curveball, and I think I would be very surprised if St. Louis was to be handed one of those 2 expansion teams, because I just don't think we would have seen that coming. Yeah, but again, who knows? Maybe Louis has got a track record of hosting women's hockey. Who knows? I mean, because obviously the criteria that we have with the Purple Trio is we want markets that have a good, solid track record of hosting the women's sport. rather than you've just planned teams in willy-nilly, like I do in the AHL. Yeah, so we were very surprised to see you on that list, Louis. I don't think we were expecting St. Louis to get a neutral site game, but this is really good. It's a shame you're not gonna get see me. I know, it's a shame. We're going out eastern for our tour, Louis. It's a bit, because honestly, how close is Minnesota to Raleigh? How close is Minnesota to Detroit? So, it's closer to you. Yeah, we're closer to you, rather than... I mean, Denver, yeah, obviously, but the other two, I don't know anywhere near them. But we are near you. So it's a shame you're not going to see my Frost, but you've got a great matchup in the Ottawa Charge and the Boston Fleet. They've provided a cracker takeover game in Detroit this past season, so you can have you will be given a great one. There, especially as that probably would be right before the international championship break, so that could have a huge indication of where the standings are going into the final stretch of the season ahead of the World Cup playoffs in the beginning of May. So, yeah, I'm gonna go into the Frost one a bit more in detail. So, can we just scroll back up there, Louis? So let's start with. In fact, I think I've still got the posters somewhere. 2 ticks. Oh god. Right, okay. Are you dancing to glory in your head? Is that what you're doing? You're not gonna teach them that song, are you? Dear, oh dear. Right, here you go. Okay, so let's start with Denver. Okay, so our first takeover game for the Minnesota Frost is January the 12th in Denver, where we're going to be hosting there we go, the Montreal Victoire. So yeah, we collectively feel that Denver should be a candidate for expansion team. I mean, we did notice a few times during we watched we watched Frost games last year. There were quite a handful of Colorado Avalanche fans in the arenas, so clearly there is interest in Colorado for the PWHL. And in terms of talking about who could be entering the league from Central America or the Pacific or the West, or more specifically the West Coast, because we need a few more West Coast teams in this league. Because right now you only got Minnesota as the lone West Coast American team. And I did go into the start of the August season, did wonder was that going to be a problem for us, but hey ho, that's not the speed. After all, World Cup champions. So yeah, but I would love a few more West Coast teams to get added into the league. We kind of need what the AHL did with when they had that the expansion and create the Pacific Division. You know, just a massive, say, 4 or 5 teams add in for the West Coast, and that can then help bolster the numbers up, because we are right now outnumbered. Yeah, and Denver is close to Minnesota. Obviously, in the NHL, these two sides, Avalanche and Wild, along with Louis, are all division rivals. So I think that would be a really good potential match there, and there is definitely interest. I definitely have spotted a few Avalanche jerseys throughout PWHL games last year, so there is interest in Colorado. The question is, does Colorado have a track record when it comes to the women's game, and if they do or not, that can maybe hinder them. So depending on how this takeover weekend goes, this is a really good matchup. I mean, with Montreal, all the games between, except the first matchup, which of course was our home opener, and of course we were the only team to win a home opener last year. Yeah, Louis. Oh, Louis. I know you're having struggles on home ice this year, but in the upper season, home openers were not good for the league. We were the only one to win ours. It was against Montreal. It was a 3-0 shutout win, thanks to Grayson Winkle. That was the only game that was a bit of a lopsided result. The rest of the games between these two sides last season were incredibly tight. They're extremely close. I think if it had not been for what the Fleet was doing in the World Cup semi-finals, possibly maybe we could have had the Victoire Frost in the World Cup final. Who knows? But it kind of felt like in the regular season that these two sides were destined for a playoff series. And then, oh no. Yeah, you had some very close matches between these two sides last year. Some of them were literally heart attackers. Particularly the shootout win that we got over again in Exercise Centre right before the championship break. That was a heart attacker as well. Oh, God. And of course, we have yet to beat the Victoire in Montreal. Montreal is going into year 2. Montreal is the only place that we have not won a game in. I know Toronto fans saying, well, you didn't win in our regular season. Yeah, but remind me, Toronto Sceptres, what happened in the World Cup semi-finals? So, buck your baskets. Yeah, Louis like, yeah, pipe down, yeah. I'm the best of polar bear. Oh, someone's practicing ready for March 29. But you're not hosting them either. You're prepping yourself for the wrong teams, Louis. I know. You poor thing. Yeah, so I think it's going to be a really, really intense matchup, and I think it's going to be a great one. So, yeah, so January the 12th in Denver at the Ball Arena, home the Avalanche. Okay, so our next, and then we don't have Takeover games for the Ross until March. Our last two we done in March. The span of about maybe a week, 2 weeks, maybe. We'll see. So March the 7th is the next one. That is when we're going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is a bit of an odd one. I mean, could Raleigh be a contender for expansion? Yeah, absolutely. Can Louis be in contention for expansion? I don't know, Louis. I don't know. You might have a bit of a fight. Oh no, he's begging now. You might have a bit of a fight on your hand there, my friend. But yeah, maybe if not this round, maybe the next round potentially. Because I think Detroit's definitely going to land the team, so that takes one of the 2 spots. So you might have to fight for it. But we'll see. Pack your rink, Louis, and then maybe you might be put in contention. Because Pittsburgh didn't pack their rink, and oh look, they're not going back to Pittsburgh. There you go. Okay, so yeah, so Raleigh, North Carolina will be the next Minnesota Frost Takeover game. That'll be on March the 7th. We'll be the home team for that one, and that will be against the Ottawa Charge. What's quite interesting is all 3 Takeover games were TVDs when the schedules came out. I mean, Lady did wonder, could that be for neutral site games, potentially? And lo and behold, they are! There you go. I think, I need to double check with them. I think we're really looking forward to this one the most because of how good Iowa's branding has gone down. Look at it there, Louis. Isn't it lovely? The Charge have got a great brand overall, Louis, along with us. So you've got the battle. So in Raleigh, so Bacon Butty, otherwise known as Stormy, has got the battle of the 2 best brands of the PWHL. Ottawa for Canada and Minnesota for America. There we go. So yeah. This will be an interesting one because obviously last season we dominated over Ottawa. I mean, really, we should have had the season series sweep over the Charge last season, but Ottawa did win the last game in that series. You could argue that was during the post-championships, so you could argue that there you go because we were struggling there. But yeah, but I think it's gonna be a really exciting matchup. The location's a bit weird, and I think for some teams, if you look at them and think, why are they there? And I think for us, Raleigh doesn't really make sense. Because I don't... Because in the AHL, the Wild and Hurricanes, they only face each other twice a year. And, yeah, so I just think... But then again, you're taking this into markets that could be considered as potential candidates for future expansion. And I think Raleigh, I think definitely does have a proven track record of women's hockey, so Raleigh ticks that box. The question is, would it work or not? Yeah, I just think it's a bit of a... It's a bizarre matchup for us to be designated as a home team. Because this will be one of our home games. So just 2 of the Minnesota Frost's 15 home games are not going to be at the Exalt Energy Centre. So that's not too bad. Yeah, I just don't know what to make about Raleigh there. I really hope they do show up, because I've got confidence Denver will. With Raleigh, I think it'll be interesting. We'll be interested to see if they do show up or not. You've got a great match there in terms of the Charge and the Frost. Like I say, battle the best brands in the PWHL. Yeah, so so that the Lenovo Centre, it used to be like the P&G Centre. It's not now anymore. That was quiet, Louis. We didn't even get that over the summer, did we? No. So Carolina snuck in with an arena name change. Ooh. Wow. There we go. Because I think we saw that and thought, what is that? And I had to literally, I had to Google it. Because like, is that, where is that? And I had to Google it. And then I thought, oh, it's the Canes Arena. When did they do a name change? Oh no, we didn't see that mentioned over the summer, did we? No. My. Yeah, so there you go. So, Charge and Frost at Raleigh on the 7th of March. And then, is it a week or 2 weeks later that we then have our 3rd and final one? Let's take a look, shall we? Yeah, so it's more or less... So it's so 9 days after the Frost will be in Raleigh, they'll then go to Detroit for their 3rd and final Takeover Tour match, which will be... Oh, God. Oh, God, it's that... Oh, I'm not coming down with something. Will be in Detroit on March the 16th. Now, of course, Detroit was of course where we had the first Takeover weekend game last season when the Ottawa Charge played the Boston Fleet. I think Boston was the designated home team for that game. I can't remember now. And Detroit showed up. Of the 2 sites in the Takeover weekend, Detroit showed up. Pittsburgh did not. So, I think if you're going to choose somebody to come and have another go, then obviously Detroit had to be the actual candidate. And I'm confident. I'm confident Detroit's getting a team. I'm confident. Because why would the PHL go back to Detroit if they were not confident that a team could work in Detroit? You would just go for 9 sites that haven't hosted one yet. So the fact that we have a return trip to Detroit on this tour shows me that the PHL wants to be in Detroit. And I think Detroit is going to get a team. So, brace yourselves. And it would make sense, you know. You've got the state of hockey, and Detroit's known as Hockey Town. So it just kind of made sense. Now, again, it says AHL, these 2 sides, separate conferences. But of course, Detroit did used to be in the Western Conference before the realignment in 2013-14. So, yep, so yeah, you remember those days, Louis? Yeah. I definitely remember those days when Detroit was in the Western Conference because I get seen with the playoffs. Oh no. And then as soon as they lead the conference, I then constantly see you in the playoffs! Oh no. God. Anyway. Good times, Louis. Good times. Yeah. Okay. And interesting, the date is March the 16th. That is, I believe, the exact same date that they had it last year in Detroit. So, there you go. Confidence there. This is the only game where the Frost will not be the designated home team. The New York Sirens will be the designated home team for this game. And what a treat Detroit is going to get. And I pray to the gods that both Taya Heisey and Sarah Fillier do not get injured. I praise the gods. Because you've got the potential for the first overall draft picks in the PWHL going head to head in Hockey Town. That is just a matchup made in heaven. So I pray to the hockey gods that neither Taya Heisey or Sarah Fillier get injured, because you have the first overall draft picks there. It's going to be a bar cracker. It will just be. I would expect this one to just literally sell out. And for Detroit to exceed what they did last year, because they got over 13,000. Yep, Louis. Yep. They got over 13,000 at the one last time. So I think if you have Heisey and Fillier both healthy and in the light for their respective teams, you might exceed that. You might. So yeah, but honestly, it's gonna be. So I think for me, this is the one I'm really looking forward to. I've been looking more forward to Raleigh because it's in a site you probably wouldn't have expected to get a team or get a game. I'm looking forward to this one just because of the potential that's there between having the first two ever first overall draft picks go head to head. So I think it's going to be really exciting. Plus, with obviously the Sirens having got the first overall draft pick this season, we really are going to be keeping a close eye on them to see if they can make a turnaround and maybe make an improvement compared to how they did in the last season. So this is the one I am really looking forward to, because I think this is going to be the best. It's going to be great. The potential is there for it to be a great one. So I'm really excited. So that's the Frost Takeover tour. 3 games for the Frost, which makes up for being snubbed last year. In fact, before I go over the others, I'm just going to quickly look at how many each team's got. So, do you have me, Louis? Did it say that or not? Oh yeah, thank you, Louis. Right, there we go. Okay. Always be a good, helpful boy. Okay. So all 6 PWHL teams will participate on the tour at least twice, with the Victoire de Montreal and the Ottawa Charge playing 4 games. The Boston Fleet and Minnesota Frost, so the 2 World Cup finalists, they will appear in 3. The New York Sirens and Toronto Sceptres will appear in 2. But of course, do bear in mind that the Charge and Victoire have also got a neutral site game taking place in the Ottawa Sceptres arena, but that is not part of the Takeover tour. You might get, and depending on your team's schedule, if you look at your respective team schedule, you see maybe some TBDs left, then that might be potentially neutral site games in your team's market that won't be a part of the tour. What we're covering on this episode is just the Takeover tour. So do bear in mind. For our Frost, I think it's just straightforward. It's XL all the rest of the way. But other teams, you might have a TBD still on your schedule somewhere, and that might be because you're going to a neutral game somewhere in your team's respective market. It won't be your home arena. Okay, so yeah. Yeah. Of the others, I am really hoping that the Seattle one is a success. Let's see who's got Seattle. It is. It's Montreal and Boston. It's the Bleat and the Victoire. They're going to be in Seattle. That's the first one, January the 5th. So not long after New Year's Day. Yeah. So I really hope the Seattle one is a success because we, the Purple Trio, all three of us collectively agreed that Seattle should land a team. And so and we were just screaming when we saw Seattle like this. We're like, yes! Because we kind of felt that Seattle needs an opportunity to prove why we want them to have a team. And the fact they're going to be on the tour. The first stop of the tour is just, boom, there we go. Straight away, Seattle's got an opportunity. So I really hope that the one in Seattle is really well attended. Because I really want Seattle to land a team. Seattle is a very rich hockey market that has got untapped potential. Okay. The Kraken have done great work. A PHL team there could just do wonders. And so we really want Seattle in there. Edmonton, I wasn't sure they were going to get it because obviously everyone's been talking about Calgary. I know, being in the mix for expansion, which I don't want Calgary to get a team. It's nothing personal. It's just the state of Calgary's in right now with their arenas. Because what other arena has Calgary got that could house a team? Because the Wranglers have shared the Flames arena ever since the Flames moved them from Stockton in 2022, and that's not working. So the fact that Calgary doesn't have that many arenas just makes me think, no, don't give it Calgary. So I'm glad that I'm kind of glad that Calgary's got the snub. Although I can imagine we do have that game in Edmonton, which is on February the 8th, February the 16th. So that's 2 days before Valentine's Day. So any Sceptres and Charge fans who are in couples, you know what to get your partner for Valentine's Day. Tickets to the Takeover tour in Edmonton. Yeah, so that's going to be an interesting one. And I imagine when we get to that one, I imagine the Calgary Flames fans will throw a hissy fit because Edmonton got picked over them. Because we all know, the Battle of Alberta, it's one of the most ugliest rivalries in the NHL. Yeah, it is. You have to pick a side. And I picked Edmonton. Whenever there's a Battle of Alberta game, and I watch it, I'm always Edmonton. It's just, there you go. Nothing personal, Calgary, but that's the way it goes. So, yeah, so I can imagine Calgary fans are going to kick up a fuss. Because Calgary has been put in the mix for expansion, but I just don't think it would work in Calgary. I really don't. Now, Buffalo is interesting, because obviously the Sirens this year have now left New York City as a whole, and have moved to New Jersey. We have just done an episode on that. And the fact that there's not a neutral site game in actual New York City, I think that now proves the point that the PHL has given up on New York. And the fact that they want to do expansion also tells me they've given up on New York. So the fact they've got one in Buffalo, now Buffalo is kind of classed as New York, but it's more classed as New York than New Jersey is. But really, you could not find a way to get one done in, say, UBS Arena or Madison Square Garden, you know, maybe. But yeah, so that's interesting. So that'll be when the Sirens will be hosting the Boston Fleet, and that is February the 23rd. Okay, so yeah. Okay, we'll get to you, Louis. We'll get to you. I was very pleased to say I'm not surprised Vancouver's on the list because Vancouver is also being taught in terms of Canadian markets for expansion. That's potential as well. But yes, let's get to. We'll end with Louis. No, don't do the dance! Oh, for God's sake, Louis! Oh, goodness sake. So yeah, so last stop, March 29. Louis, Charge, Fleet. That's going to be an impressive one. But yeah. Yeah, I just think St. Louis. It's that I did not see coming. I did not see that coming. But yeah. But then again, the idea behind the neutral site games is you're supposed to take them out into markets that have not got a PHL team. The idea is not. It's just. It's part of. It's trying to grow the game. It's a way of trying to grow the game. We're not looking at potential expansion. The idea behind neutral site games is not to put expansion to the forefront. It's to grow the game. And if one of those sites happens to then get an expansion team, well then fair dues, hooray for them. But the idea behind these neutral site games is to try and grow the game in markets that haven't got a team, but who knows, in potentially 5 years, 10 years time, when we've got a whole decade experience under our belt, and we're more stabilised, established, then we can look at exploring outwards. Yeah. So in terms of St. Louis, it's a bit of a outside the box choice, but if this ends up going down well, say if Louis does get to fill the rink, then yeah. So I mean, of the others, you think obviously they're pretty much obvious, but then Louis, you're there, and it's like, well, okay, fire up your saxophone. Yeah. Well, I want to teach them Gloria. Yeah. I don't think the PWHL realised that when they chose Boston, because obviously the Boston Bruins was who Louis beat to play Gloria back in 2019. I don't think they thought that one through. So if there's any Bruins fans going over, maybe stay away from Louis. Especially if you've got a donut standing by. Yep. We all know Louis loves a good Krispy Kreme. So yeah, actually I'm quite excited for that one, Louis. Because I've been interested to see how well you do. Because I think a lot of people are thinking right now, St. Louis? Really? Really? But who knows, when we get to it, who knows, maybe in the coming problem you could end up probably be more successful than you are. So guys, that is the whole Takeover tour for 2025. This is so exciting. And it's literally going to start as soon as we hit the calendar year. January the 5th, the first one. It's like, we're not even going to have like a wait 2 or 3 weeks. It's just going to go boom, straight in. New year, new sites, let's go. Yeah, it's so exciting. And there will be a very special first episode that will recap every single Takeover tour game, which we did do last season for the games in Detroit and Pittsburgh. So there will be a very special Takeover tour first episode for every single stop, and that means every single mascot will be brought up for that. We did on the Takeover weekend recaps we did for Detroit and Pittsburgh. We brought up their respective teams' mascots. We'll do that again for this year's tour. So that means that you'll be coming back on again. But of course, you're not told the end of the tour. Yours probably won't get recorded until April. Yeah, so we will do a very special recap show for every single stop on the Takeover tour, which is going to be so exciting. So yeah, so free for your Frost, January the 12th, hosting Montreal in Denver. March 7th, hosting Ottawa in Raleigh, and then March the 16th we will be at New York in Detroit. So 2 of those Takeover tour games will be designated home games, one of them a road game. No, that's fairly straightforward. Yeah, so like I say, but if you are thinking about going to any of these 9 destinations, I'd get your tickets now, because it was just Takeover. All the new site games last year, they sold out really quickly. So if you are thinking about it, do not delay. Just get it done and just help support our league grow even further. Because who knows where this could go in the future. So yeah, really exciting. Of course, he can't wait. And Oh, Charge Fleet fans, you can have a real good time there. Oh, there you go. There you go.